Hello everybody, my name is Peter Vestine and today we're doing a tier list on the Saints Row games. This series was probably the most well-known competitor to GTA, but they fumbled so bad later on that there should be a whole documentary on this. First up we've got Saints Row, the game that started it all. It's honestly a weird feeling to go back and replay all of the games. You've got this mute gang member who many years down the line ends up becoming the supreme ruler of the universe. The game itself was a great alternative if you wanted something like San Andreas. The story, characters, and the map of Stillwater were all fun, and while I didn't really appreciate my progress being halted by requiring a certain level of respect, most of the activities were a good time. This game is going in A tier. Next up is Saints Row 2. This game felt like a true sequel. The map was expanded upon, there were more activities to mess around with, and you even became the leader of the Saints with your now fully voiced character. However, the character models looked hideous, you either looked like an anorexic drug addict or a wannabe sumo wrestler. The map is great, but it's missing one thing, the fucking color. It seems like a lot of games from that era used a darker color aesthetic. It makes sense for horror games, but it seems like a lot of games were using it. I get that GTA 4 is considered a dark game, but that doesn't mean there shouldn't be any color. I honestly prefer Saints Row 2 Stillwater in every single way except for the color. The first game just did that better. But my biggest problem with Saints Row 2 is how buggy this game is. You can change any settings, add in any mods, and you're still gonna deal with a game that'll most likely crash every 30 minutes. And for me, it seems to happen whenever I get into a car, and in a game that has you shooting and driving, you're bound to get into a car in, every 3 minutes? I'm putting it in A tier behind the first one. This is an amazing game that some have even called the best open world game ever, and while I don't share that sentiment, I can definitely see why. Ooh, if you weren't mad at me already, you're gonna be now. Saints Row the Third is my favorite of the whole series. Some people don't enjoy this game and I can see why. The story was not that great, the gangs were ridiculous, and this is Saints Row we're talking about. The customization and freedom felt like a step back from the previous game, and of course there's the obvious, which was killing longtime fan favorite Johnny Gat. That was definitely one of the dumbest decisions they ever made. So why is it my favorite? The music in this game is top tier, the gameplay is smooth as butter, the characters look amazing. Yeah, they definitely recycle the same NPCs in the city, but the main cast themselves are all done well. Not to mention, there were barely any BS moments in this game with missions that had insane difficulty spike like in the first two. This is one of the very few games that I actually 100%ed because it was just that fun for me. Oh god, now we're on Saints Row 4. I'm gonna summarize this one. It should have just been what it was originally intended to be, which was a DLC for the third called Enter the Dominatrix. The gameplay is honestly the best thing about this game. It's fun, but that's pretty much it. Nobody asked to have the world blown up and to be fighting aliens. Seriously, you show gameplay of the first and fourth game side by side to someone who has no knowledge of this series and they'll think that they're two completely different franchises. I wasn't sure on including Gat Outta Hell, but the only reason I'm doing it is because it was honestly depressing that the canon ending where the world gets reset was ultimately for nothing. It's a DLC that felt like a rejected Disney movie that takes place in hell. D tier. This is honestly the point in Saints Row where you just stopped caring. Agents of Mayhem felt like a knockoff of Overwatch. I only played this game for like 2 hours before I gave up on it because I thought to myself, what am I even playing? Because it's definitely not Saints Row. Ho ho ho, Saints Row 2022. I've heard people say that this one is actually less terrible than Agents of Mayhem, but I'm gonna have to disagree just because of the complete disrespect Volition did to the community. Saints Row has two sets of fans. The older fans who like 1 and 2, and the newer ones who like 3 and 4. And this game pleased none of them. Instead of using the criticism to make the game better in any way, shape, or form, they just decided to insult their fans, call them haters, and even terrorists. This game is so bad that I've never even played it, and yes, I know that it's unfair to rank a game that you've never played, but the only way I'd ever play this piece of shit is if you paid me to do it. I'm pretty sure there's a DLC where you have a LARPing session. A fucking LARPing session! This game is definitely at the bottom of F tier. Terrible game and terrible way the company handled this whole situation. The only thing that makes me happy is that the company got exactly what they deserved. Maybe next time you'll listen. But there won't be a next time. RIP Saints Row. And that's all of the Saints Row games ranked. It's honestly depressing how this whole thing ended, but just use this as a cautionary tale, I guess. At least we can still play the good games. But with that in mind, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. My name is Peter Vestine, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.